I'll have a really good guide that you guys can look into and understand. And anybody in your groups, if they're not in this meeting, that's a that wants to be participating in that ETPL review stuff, all those training plan review stuff, you might want to get them in that for sure. Get them in that. Okay, so that's going to be the 2 weeks after next week. So starting on the 12th. Starts on the 11th because we do it to the state on the 11th and then 12th for you all. Um, there's a lot here, okay? And I know there's a lot in Olivia's part. So I just want to tell you, let's get this knocked out because it's really small, and then we'll get into that. And as you can see, these just keep building. After that, we're going to be a lot of career planning. And this stuff is getting tested like crazy right now, and then built to org tested, and then we get into more career planning and then eligibility certification. We're going to look at a little grant transfers then, leading up into a lot of these down in here. Some of these are not too front end heavy, like these interfaces and stuff like that. But we still want you to take a look at what happens, the results of those interfaces. So today, once again, we're going to focus on this employment, adding an employment occurrence, adding an education enrollment occurrence, looking at them, viewing, editing them, and then this pre-record dedupe, and and we'll look at all three of those. Okay, so let
I
me
have
get back over
I have
here.
a quick question as
Yes,
far as the next the meeting for the ETPL people.
yes.
Because I have somebody who hasn't been part of this at all, but is the ETPL main coordinator. How should I get them invited to the next meeting? What would
You send. I want you to send Kelly on this phone call right here, Trimble. Kelly, the name and ID, and because we're going to have to get instructions for them to log in, right? And we need to get them in the system. So, and Kelly get that to the right people, and
Mhm.
um, and then she'll get them on the invite list. Okay, is that right, Kelly?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions before we start into this? This won't be really long, but I just want to make sure you can all get into it. So I'm really going to take the time on this. Okay. Okay. In, so Kelly can provide this link, or I could provide it probably if I went here. Oh, wait, that's not the link. Let's see, training. No, 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 train. Hold on. Hold on. This is UAT. So this will be discovery, documentation, UAT. And then here I've got a link here. Let me get this. I'll throw this in chat just so you also have it. Sorry, Kelly, I didn't prepare you for that, but I did that last week because it was kind of getting crazy. Can't
Okay. People that aren't in our like SIU group here are
get that.
probably
You have to move it
not going to be
somewhere
able
else.
to see it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're
You
good. Let me work on getting it updated in
you
the.
work on that and I'll work on this. Okay. That's right. I'm so sorry. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me go back to where we're at. Okay. So this is what she's going to send you. You had a link to it in a Word document. It's just the only thing difference is the numbers got kind of screwed up. How, for whatever reason. I'm not going to painstakingly take you through this other than to tell you again, in here on page 2 is your link right directly to our UAT site, which is this site that we're all talking about we need you into. Okay. We'll come back to that. Also in here is the UAT notebook link right here. This provides you with place, first of all, to put in that you got into it. Great. Like today, hopefully you'll put in 2.5. Um, and then in here, there's just 3 different sections. If you have any issues, you put them in here. This is a good example. Looking into this one here. We're looking at it today. Here's a good example. Very good. And anything in here. So we just got 3 sections here. They're pretty small, but I thought it'd be good to go ahead and not group this with anything else so we can get our feet wet, so to speak. Okay. So that link is in here and the link to your UAT sites in here. Also in here, it talks about expectations, of course. Down in here has a step-by-step guide of taking you through customer pre-record intake. Okay. Step by step. And then it also does the duplicate customer search page. And then it goes into outcomes, capturing employment. It's pretty small, but there that is, step-by-step guide. I'm going to take you through. And then finishing adding the employment record, outcomes. There's more actual text here than there is to do. Outcomes, capturing education enrollments, talks about navigating to it, adding the new enrollment. There you go. So I'm going to take you through each of these parts, starting with this customer dedupe part. And what this is, just to remind everybody, I'm going to go over here. So when you log in, you should probably see this, right? So if you go to that link, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to actually show you what's going to happen. Let me let me go over here. I'm going to sign out. This probably won't sign me completely out, unfortunately, but let me go ahead. Let me go back here. I want to make sure. Hopefully I can reproduce what you're going to see, but I may not be able to. So if I go to that link right there, okay, it takes me in here, and then it should, but it's not going to. It's afraid of that. It should. There we go. So when you go to that link, you should get something that looks like this. Okay. I got my ID in there. I got my state. I log on password in there right here. I'm using the push notification. It got sent to my phone. You could use it like 3 different ways you could do that. This is the way I'm doing it. I say, yes, it's me. It says, okay. It takes me, just keep waiting. It takes you all the way in and it should display the home page. Okay. Right now, this is just a landing area. It's not going to look like this in the future. Don't worry about that. We're going to have a nice dashboard and all those kinds of things here. But right now, this is what it looks like. So if you get to this page, you've successfully got through the login. Okay. Now, next piece. What we're going to go into is we're going to find the pre-records, what we call pre-records, because they're customer information that we have gathered through the self-service process out on the website that where they do the intake. Okay. If you go to customers right here, you'll see a search panel here and 3 tabs. We want you to go to the pre-record intake tab. Okay. This right here is being worked on right now. This filter for this, it's being worked on right now. That'll be coming available soon. Okay. But right now, let's focus right here. This is the only pre-records we have in here. Okay. We could take you all the way through this process, but when you hit merge, it's going to say to do. We because we only have this much data in here, and obviously there's not much in here. We want to make sure that you didn't merge them because nobody else would have data. So let's go through and take one like this one. When we're in here and we click on this one, we're trying to find out if this particular pre-record, right? Scarlett Adams, date of birth, email, phone number, zip code. If we have anything in a system that's a customer profile that looks like it might be this same person, okay? May or may not have that, right? If so, we can, when it already searched and it came back with these two, okay? It says, oh, these 2 records here potentially could be it, okay? This one doesn't match on the birth, right? So you may like, well, that's probably not it. That's a long ways from 2008, right? You had 2008 here. This one looks like a good candidate, right? Okay. Now, this is all the data we have on that. We're assuming that that's a good candidate. Okay. So if that is something we want to look at, all you have to do is say, let's look at that profile information, see if I can get a little more data. Okay. I hit that little view. on that record. And what it did was it gave me a quick preview of this customer. It gives you a little bit more. It gives you an address and stuff like that. It gives you, now this may be the case that this person is in front of you. All right. And they said, hey, you know what? I entered my stuff, but I didn't finish it. I need help. And then you search for that and you say, oh, well, I see your stuff. I see your customer pre-record. So you go into it and then you find out that a while back or whatever, or sometime in our system, we have that customer. Okay. If that's the case, you're saying, okay, yep, I believe that's exactly the same thing. Then you'd hit this merge record right here, right? Or this merge right here. If we had this turned on, it wouldn't do that. It would actually associate that with the customer and go right to the customer record. So it associate that and go to the right customer. We do not have it turned on because if we did, we wouldn't have any records left right now. But we want everybody to get to this for two reasons. Okay, now, first of all, if you want to get rid of that, you can either put the next one in there or you hit it again and it gets rid of that. Okay, let me show you that again. You go here, you can see that information there. I could go to this one, look at its information. I could merge from here. I could go to the complete record. I could jump to the complete record, or I can just turn it off. Okay, now you say, well, what's so special about that? There's nothing really special about that. But you could also change these parameters, okay, and search again and see if you find that record. And so, for example, let me see if I find one that would make more sense on this. Okay. I don't know that I have one. A good one would be if we had a Bob and a Robert or something like that. Okay. Um, let me see here. I thought I had one. Let's try this one here. Okay. Okay. So maybe you can search by first name if you put the date of birth in there. If we take out the date of birth, which I don't think we can, I think we have to always have the date of birth. If we change this, um, I don't think we can just do this. No, can't do that. Okay, so if we put in here 12, 18, 2007, okay, and we put in here, if we had a different first name, we just said Brooke, I think this should find it.
Well, we've got a
First name,
couple of questions in the chat.
Okay,
While
first
you're
name and birth date are familiar to staff currently, or first name and soc. We don't have soc option here, but
yeah,
first name and birth often finds that customer for us.
yeah, I think that does work. Um, because I found that same record. If I didn't work, I wouldn't have that ability. And I think I might even be able to still do this without the last name in there. I can. So if I put in here, um, James, for example, it should show me not, well, it's not, but it wouldn't have anything. So this, if you mess around with this a little bit, it should bring different records. Unfortunately, right now, and we're gonna have a lot more in the next UAT cycle, but we don't have very much in here. Okay. Um, we have a few, but we don't have a ton. Okay. We have about 4 pages. Uh, Okay. So that's the whole concept there is either somebody's doing this, either somebody's job to do this in LWIA, and we'll be able to in the future, you'll be able to select the LWIA here. So you'll be able to see, hey, what's those ones? And how we do that is we pick up if they put their address in, we pick it up and then we center that with your LWIA area. So because they wouldn't know what LWIA, they won't be selecting that because this is an individual doing their self-service. But we would center that in and you'll be able to sort or filter by LWIA, and that way you can kind of work on your own. Okay. So this could be an individual doing this, or it could just happen that your career planner or whoever your intake person is talking to somebody and you find out that they have started this process online themselves and now they're needing help. Okay. Or something like that. And you're like, well, I kind of really want to see where they started that record. Okay. That is the first part of this UAT. That's all there is to it. Now, later on, obviously, when you actually merge one of those, this didn't have any, but let me go to the first page again. When you actually merge one of those, this record here will go away. So when you go back to that list, it'll be gone. It only shows those that are the records that are kind of on their own that are not connected to any kind of profile. The other thing I want to tell you about is you could add that too. You can just add the customer. Say, nope, it's not here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a profile right there. Okay. I'm assuming we can do that. So you're saying I shouldn't do that, but you're saying in this situation, you're saying, well, it's not one of these. It's coming back and saying, hey, you sure it's not one of those? Because it feels like it should be one of those to me. The system's saying that. You're saying, nope, it's not. I verified this. And then you would go into the add portion where you go ahead and actually add the customer. You can do that. Okay. Okay. That's part one. Okay. That's the first part of this, which is step by step how to access the customer pre-record, the fields you'll find on that page, how to use the search. Okay. Part two of this UAT is capturing employment and the outcomes section. Okay. Now, this is like you're going in right directly in with blinders kind of because you're not going to do a whole lot else in here, but we'll show you. So you go select a customer and you need to select one that has an application. Like this one has an application. This one has an application. This one does. There's I don't know if there's any more, but you really need to, obviously you can't get to outcomes if it doesn't have an application. Okay. You go to that application, you go to that customer. Okay. You select, okay, I'm in the customer profile. Okay. I go down here, I find the application. Yep. I select that to view. Okay. Go to the intake area, outcomes. Now I have my employment here and education. Okay. These are the two places we're going to work. Employment. Here are obviously test records. These are employment records people have put on this while they're doing this testing. Okay. And if you see an employment record there, you can actually view it this way. This is pretty much the pattern we always go to. You can view this. You can go, if you want to edit that, you could go to edit. And when you
Al,
come,
you
yes,
clicked a little too fast for me. Can you back
you
up
bet.
to
You bet. Okay.
you picked the customer. I got to that
Okay.
part.
Let's go back. Let's go. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Let's go.
let's go back because that was a little bit too quick
All
because
right.
I wanted to
Customers.
make sure.
You bet. Thank you. Customers right here on the top. Customers. It was the
Yes.
same place we came from, went to get the pre-record, but we're on the customers tab now. Okay. To get into any customer's details, like get into their profile, there's a link on their last name that you touch. So if you wanted to get into any of these, by the way, just to remind everything, the pages are here, right? So I could put right now, I've got 10 here. I want to go back to this. I could have 25 here and I'll have 25 on here, right? This works over here. So if I wanted to see all my atoms and search that, it's going to bring back just the atoms, right? Um, I don't know if we have some LE is set. So I can reset that search like that. It'll reset it. Okay. If I wanted to search by SSN last four or anything like that, or if I wanted to search um, by a status or an LWIA. Now these are, just test data. I don't know. We should have something in there. I saw 20 was in there. One might have one. Most of them are one. Uh, there's no ones. I saw a 20 though. Um, most of them aren't set.
So my information is not showing up. Why is that? I put in clients. Why would it not show up for one?
For one, you got one as one? Okay, hold on. Let me see. I didn't might not hit the search.
No, you hit it. I'm just amazed that I put a few of those in, and something is keep on when I do save it. I did notice that it doesn't
Oh,
save.
okay, my fault. When you're in it, what was the name of one you put in? Let's do it that way because
Oh boy, man, was it Brenda or Kelly or something like that?
oh, okay. See if there's a Brenda in here. No, let's see if there's a Kelly in here.
Because I remember even doing the email like one love after Bob
Okay,
Marley
here's
song.
here's the issue, Robert, on the right now, on this right now. When you log in right now, you are not associated with an LWIA. Okay, we don't have those associations yet. We don't have all the users associated with their LWIAs yet. Okay, so because of that,
Oh,
that's why you're actually seeing. I'll show this. You're seeing NA in a bunch of these is because we don't know the LWIA yet. We haven't got that part of the system where we're associating everybody that's logged in with their own LWIA because it'll pull that when you add one. It'll know exactly where you're from. And it'll actually associate that LWIA. So most of them, see, the only ones here are 20. There's most of them aren't, and that's because we set some data in the back end, but to see if it worked. But yeah, we don't have that feature on yet. It'll probably be pretty quick though, because we got it. We got most of this user management close, so we'll be able to start associating LWIAs with people. Okay, so
okay.
we'll
I
do
will
that.
screen. I'll do it again. I'm gonna screenshot some information just so to see because yes, I did notice
You might
it
have done.
didn't save my information for some reason. But
All
okay,
right.
thank you,
Okay, so
Pastor.
let's just yeah, let's do that. Make sure if you make sure that there's nothing, I'm not missing something that works. Okay, so we're at customers. We can mess around with these filters. We can go to these paging. You can add, you can add 50 if you want, whatever. And then um, you can go ahead and select one of these. You're going to want to select one that has an application. There's also an easy way to do that. If you go to Applications tab, you'll see we have 3 customers that have applications. So when you do this work, you're going to have to use one of these because even the one you add, Robert, it's not going to have an associated application yet. The
Correct.
next UAT, though, the next UAT, we're going to get into applications and now this is all going to come together. But just this part here, select one of these that have an application. Okay. After you do that, we have the customer profile stuff in here. Okay. And then the intake summary here, we have applications. Doesn't stand out very good right now. Applications. And you'll see there's an application here. Don't worry about the fact it says trade. And then you hit that view. Okay. When you hit that view, and we're going to have quick links over here soon too. But when you hit that view, you need to go to outcomes. Okay, outcomes, employment is where we're at. Okay. Did everybody get that now? So customer,
Got it.
select the customer, go to the application, career plan outcomes. Okay, let's make
That
sure
helped me, Al. Thank you.
you bet. All right, so let's do this again. Navigation, the
Hey,
outcome.
hey, Al, on that, when you've got that list of uh, employers,
Okay,
where can I know what customer? I didn't see customer names showing at the top or anything, so I know that
right here.
maybe.
See this?
Oh, there it is. Okay, I was
You
looking
bet.
looking
Okay,
down a
so
little bit further.
thanks,
Yeah.
Mark. Up
Okay.
here, guys, up here, we have the customer profile, a snippet of it, and we have the application summary. So you came from, we have the Scarlett Adams. It tells about a few things there, of course, got their email, phone number, stuff like that. And down here, we have WEO program. This, don't worry about trade. It was just test data that was added. And then application, applicant. This will be the status. Obviously, this is going to be all kept up to date, but it will tell you that customer up here, and it will tell you that application information up there. Okay. Um, Let me go back over here just to make sure. Okay. We use the top menu bar to locate the customer menu. We did that. We find a customer with at least one application. When a customer is found, then you select the link on the last name. Okay. In a customer profile page, I'm going to go here, customer profile page. In the area that says applications, under the applications header, it shows a grid. In the applications row, okay, select the view icon right there. Okay. At the top of this page, you will see a question labeled, what area do I want to work in? Right. So I went back here. What area do I want to work in? Outcomes. Okay. Then after we did that, after the area, what area we want to work in, I select the outcomes item from that, and I select the view will change, and it'll show all these different tabs. And I'm going to select the employment tab. So I go back here, outcomes, I selected that, employment, and that's where we're at. Okay. Now, if I want to view one of these records that's already been here created, I just hit the view. That's a lie again. And it gives me all the information here. I'm not editing, I'm just viewing. If I wanted to edit one of those, I would go hit that edit button at the top right, and I could change the information on here. Okay. It has the employer name, doing business as, address line 1 and 2, if there is 1 and 2, city, state, zip, start date of that employment. If they're still employed, it would be, you wouldn't put an end date there. Okay. Entered employment or still employed. Okay. It looks like that's still employed, for example. Full-time, part-time, temporary or seasonal, independent contractor. Okay. Job duties, you can enter job duties here. I know what this employment is, but that's
Al,
employment.
can you just take a second and say when we're editing a job that's already in there, is
Yep.
that because I'm trying to understand when I might do that? Is
You
that
might
when I
have
see,
you might have some of the information partially complete the first time you
oh, might be
did it,
adding to it
and you
or
come back
find a
later and you say, you know
mistake
what, I
or
got a contact name now, or I got a phone number. Obviously, the required stuff you would have had to have, or you might find out their job duties later, or you might find out, hey, you know what, in order to contact them, I need to do some kind of a suite number. I don't know why that's in there twice. Um, or now I got the NAICS code or the ONET code that I think is more appropriate, whatever. That's the only reason you'd edit it. Okay.
Gotcha.
That's absolutely the only reason. Okay.
So again, we're differentiating, if I remember right, this page from the work history page, which might have employment information that's uploaded from IDES.
Right. When we upload those records from IDS, though, we're bringing them in here.
So we'll see it
This
here
is your
too.
employment all the time. So those records that are going to come from IDS are going to come in here.
Gotcha. Thank
And
you.
Okay.
will we be able to edit those fields? Because
The
sometimes when
IDS
they,
ones,
yes, because before in
yes.
IWDS is upload, but if you edit, if you try to fix just one of them, they got a lot of red dots that they didn't complete through the upload.
Yeah. You'll be able
Then,
to fix them. Yep.
okay,
Yep. Okay. Now here's what I want to tell you something that's going on here. This is a problem. I've got it somewhere. Actually, I got it in the notes here. There's a note here, if you notice, right here. Currently, the system is routing the user back to the credentials page. This has actually been fixed since he and then, but it's not in UAT yet. This is a defect in the system. Just so you don't get confused, you got to be careful about this. If you go into one of these and you add or edit, we're going to go back to add in a minute, and you cancel or save, see what happened? Just be careful because you're like, where is it at? That's a bug. It's getting fixed or it is fixed. It's not in UAT yet. It should take you right back to here, right? Okay, just be careful of that. I got a note in that, but just want you to know that. Okay, so that's how you edit and view. Now let's add one. Okay, this is kind of different, kind of interesting. Okay, so we're going to when you put a name in here and hit this search button, it's going to search in, of course, our entity management in IWDS 2.0 first. At the same time, it's going to search Dun and Bradstreet. Okay, and it's going to bring back a set of records from Dun and Bradstreet. It's going to bring back anything it finds. So I know if I went, I don't actually know, but if I put in, there could be a Lincoln in here. Yeah, Lincoln Land is in here. Just don't get confused because that's normally, it's an educational provider, but this is a employer. We're saying it came back because it found it in entity management. Now, our entity management right now does not have a whole bunch of good records, so you're not going to find a whole lot in there. But that's where it came back. At the same time, it searched Dun and Bradstreet. Okay. Now, I just put in Lincoln, remember? So obviously, quite a few Lincolns. But if I put in Lincoln Land and I did another search, it's getting a little better. Okay. And if I put in Lincoln Land Community, it would probably get a lot better. Okay. Now we got all the Lincoln community colleges. Okay. So if you want to use one of these from Dun and Bradstreet, okay, um, then you would just click on this right here and it would say continue. So we're going to continue to add the employment and we're going to use this particular employer. Okay. If, and it always tells you right here which one you got selected right now. Why you say, why is that necessary? Because if I went over here right now, you didn't know I had that one selected over there. So we got to bring that in there because you're on a different tab. It only lets you select one. If I did this one here, it would be using the one that's in our entity management already. Okay. Both of those situations, if I use one from here or I use one from here, if you check it, it's going to come in here and show you that. And then you could say continue and use selected. Okay. If I do that, which I'm going to do, then it will pre-fill all this for you and put all the stuff it had that we have in entity management, and it'll actually associate it in that case with entity management or brings it in from Dun and Bradstreet. Then all I have to do is I have to put in this date. It could be, could be way back, could be forward, whatever. I'll put it in as the 2nd of February, 2026. I'm not going to put an end date in there. I'm just going to say they're still employed. Okay. Job title. Mission. I don't know what that job title is or whatever they're doing here. Full-time. Maybe it's maintenance. Okay. By the hour or by the year or by the mile, the wage type. Okay. If it's by the hour or the year, then the wages you put in here are either hourly or you put in annual salary. So if I put in hourly here, I could put in, say, 65, and it'd be $65 an hour. How many hours a week I work? 40. Okay. If I put in here year, then that should be, and we'll be able to check this. This should be more like, say, whatever, 65,000. Okay. Hours per week could still be 40. Okay. If I put in miles, then it's probably something like what, 67 cents or something, maybe. And I say, how many miles a week? This changes to miles per week. And I say, what, 2,500. Okay. That way we can figure out everything wage wise in the back end. Okay. If
Hey,
I,
Al,
yes,
just where, because I haven't seen how that calculation is. I mean, I know how you're doing a calculation, but is that a DOL means of grabbing wages? How to, has anyone else seen that? Because we don't have that capability either in IWDS now.
We
No,
see it on the exit screen, Mark, supplemental wages. It
yeah,
shows what the system thinks they're gonna earn in the next quarter, and then that gets replaced with the real data when it comes in.
but with the wage percentage where you got 6.7, would that change? Because DOL always changing the mileage rate. So do we put in that wage by the customer telling us, or but what is governed by DOL?
well, no, what do you mean by deal? You mean I,
Well, they're not told by DOL. It's IDS is where you would get the
IDS?
wage
Yeah.
match. Yeah, yeah, and they wouldn't have that kind of wage, would they? When it's based on miles?
No, we're going to calculate. Say they come back with,
Okay.
this is per week, right? So we would take 2,500 times 0.67 times 4.5 to get a month or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That's how we would get their wages. If they weren't validated by IDES. Like if we couldn't get
And,
it from IDES, then that's the way you could put them in.
and then your
Or you could say,
calculation.
you know what, this is kind of keeping us from the user have to calculate it. They could still even calculate it. They could say, you know what, that's whatever, $1,200 or something like that. And the problem is we don't know how much of that's wages and how much of that's something else. But
That's why I was wondering how you come up
we
with
really
true
don't
wages
know.
because
But
if
if they
I
didn't
it,
get something other than that from, if the, maybe the actual customer said, "Hey, this is what it was, or this is what it is," then you could today. I think you just have to multiply that out.
Yeah, because I'd
You
be
want, but you could
curious
still
if
do that if you wanted. You could still say, you know what, that's 1,200. That's what 2,400. That's 4,800 a month. You know, times
right.
12.
Figure it.
That's you know what. That's looks like about 70,000 bucks. Whatever.
Yeah, because I was curious because that 67 cents might include 20 cents of maintenance, and that
Absolutely.
doesn't actually translate to
Yeah.
wages.
If
So
they own their own,
yeah,
that can
yeah.
go up, and we do have a kind of a limit on that.
Okay, as long as we, and then you can, from a reporting perspective, quarterly and annual report, you can convert that in because I don't think they
We
accept
will
miles.
convert it. Yeah, we'll convert it, and
Okay, all right.
if something looks screwy, then we can go back here that way on the report and say, well, that's because of this.
Yeah.
We'll have more data about
And the
that.
biggest thing for all the locals is, Paula will send out every once in a while. The one of the edit checks that comes in is go to like the hourly, and someone will enter $10,000 and they'll
Right,
select hourly. Well, the system knows nobody's making $10,000 an hour,
right.
so it'll
There you
kick
go.
back when we go to submit quarterly, and we'll reach out to you guys if that happens. I think there's a couple that came through with the second quarter of 25 already that Paula's reached out to the LWIS to say, hey, if you meant annual or you meant quarter, let's make sure you do the calculation and enter it correctly. So just that'll be part of training when we go forward is to remind people that they got to match up what they're selecting in that left hand side with what they're entering in the middle
Mark,
side.
it does that, right? It
Yeah,
does that.
you're building that in.
We're
I
kind
think
of we're kind of what it's a pretty big cap, obviously, but we didn't want to, too small. But
I think
we
it
just said
allows up to
hour.
three
If you
digits
typed
for
in
an
something
hour.
over
Yeah,
1,000, that seems pretty big, right?
yeah,
So that would kind of catch something like that 10,000 if they said, that's a monthly salary, or they didn't work but a few
yeah.
hours a week or something. And the year, I think we capped that at 500. I don't know, if, that's reasonable, but yeah. See, so
Um, I don't know I wonder what the Pearl has a limit on that. I don't know what it is. I know it on the hourly wage, it's three digits, so you could go up to 9.99.
oh,
And
okay, I didn't know
and
that. I
yeah,
thought it
the
was well. I
the
knew it was.
report
I
would
knew it was
accept
right
it.
around that 1,000 mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the angle if it's seven digits or eight
It's
digits
just,
or something. I mean,
I
I think
think
we've
it's
had people say they've earned somehow they got some contract and they've earned $1 million. I mean,
we can
so
do that.
somewhere the
I'm not
Pearl
against that.
accepts it. Yeah.
I think we can do it. I think we did it less than or equal to 1,000. I didn't think we did it.
Yeah, I'd put it
So
into three digits if you can do that.
we might need to do it less than 1,000. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know why. Yeah, it should be less than 1,000, not less than or equal. But okay, so that's what that's
Yeah.
about.
Awesome.
Yep, and then this here is your NAICS code. If you just hit that, you can get a search. Not even that familiar with NAICS codes. Oh, okay. Why are we putting NAICS codes on on employment? Do we need that?
That's more tied to the employer than
Mark, do we need that?
Well,
We have
yeah,
we have ONET. We have ONET.
yeah. I don't think we need
Do we
NAICS
need SIP? I don't
here.
think we do. Do we need SIP? No, no,
Um,
neither one of those. We don't need
yeah,
to.
SIP is tied to trainer like uh, Joel said. NAICS is tied to an employer, and I don't think we use that anywhere. Let me check
I
Pearl
don't
and
know.
see if
We'll look
I
into that.
don't.
We may not need that one. Hopefully we don't, because and then the other one, of course, we want is that
Yeah,
ONET, because that
no
tells
reason asking for
exactly what
something we
they're
don't need.
doing. This one tells exactly what they're doing. So if I was
Oh yeah, it does. It asks for industry code,
okay,
not
all right,
ONET. So the
we'll do
Pearl
that.
does require it, Al.
Yeah, okay.
Element 404, we have to put in industry code of employment.
Staff are used to doing it.
Yep. So it's needed, and it's a 6-digit code
yeah. Was
that's
that I was like,
allowed.
so that's searchable by the 6-digit code, like
Yep.
for
Yeah.
retail trade, like 44, whatever the next four.
Okay. All right, I'll put one in there.
Well,
And
in
then the
this
contact
case,
name
if
and the
you're doing
contact
it,
phone.
in this case,
What's
if you're
that?
doing the NAICS code for the employer, you'd be putting in community college or education rather than maintenance.
Yeah, you're right. I don't, I just picked anything. You're right. It was in there? What? I didn't even know if it was in there. I don't know if it is. Oops. There we go. Yeah, I mean, we don't have that, but this is the next code, so I just picked up something that was,
Sometimes you have to use janitorial or custodial or
yeah, it could have been that. Yeah, okay.
maintenance is one of those
Yeah. Okay.
ambiguous
So that
words.
you bet. So that's that contact name. Of course, if you have a contact name for that employer, that's a nice place to put that. If you got a phone number for that employer, that's great. Any other comments in there goes in there.
The,
I should
the,
have.
the, yeah, the last thing is I'm looking through this Pearl, just reminder, Al, wages, they do ask for 2 digits after decimal.
Oh, yeah, I forget.
So, but I don't think most people are going to enter that. I think what we did in IWDS,
We'll just add it
we
on. Yeah.
we just add 0.00 at the end of it because it requires the 2 digits to be entered for Pearl.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna do that hour or that mileage one, you're already gonna have the
We
point.
have the 2 digits.
Yeah,
We do
you
collect the
already
two
have it
digits.
there. I
Yeah.
think you need to allow people to enter 55 if it's a wages of $55 an hour and not put 55.00
We'll let them. Okay.
and be okay with it, even if it's 55.10. I mean, I don't think unless others have an issue with allowing an entry that doesn't have a decimal and some kind of numbers behind it. I think we're okay.
We'll
Yeah.
allow you to put in a decimal or not put in a decimal. That's what we'll
Yeah.
allow. Okay.
Accept it either way. I agree. Thanks.
Yep.
Mark on
All
the
right.
Pearl.
Isn't the actual earned wages the important part? I mean, this is just
Eventually,
employment
and that's
records
where I'm,
saying,
yeah,
yeah.
in both instances, the earned wages is what we report, and that's where they do mandate what we report as a state from all of your information does have to have a decimal plus 2 digits. But I think it's okay for us to create that if you guys want to just enter $25 an hour and not put 25.00 and force the digits every single time you make an entry. It just to me tedious work that's not necessary because most of you may not know that. But if you know it, you'll go ahead and put it in. If you know they're making $15.27 an hour, plug it in that way.
All right.
But we're not going to do an edit check that says, sorry, you can't enter this without the 0.00.
Okay. The last piece of this is capturing education enrollments. Okay. And we go back over here. It's just the education tab. Works very similar, right? But it's just different context. Education enrollments. You can view an enrollment right here. It has not much information, but it has a provider, a program, a start date, end date. I don't, this is wrong. Thank you. Label should be enrollment status. I don't know. I think Kelly caught that last week. Okay. And
Help me, Al, just clarify. Are we thinking education enrollments in follow-up?
it could be in follow-up, or it could be you're capturing one before follow-up. Any kind of educational enrollments that we're capturing. That's why they're enrollments. They're not really outcomes, right? And yeah, in follow-up, it'll branch back to here. If you were in follow-up area, when you click on that, it will come back all the way back to here. Um, and you can add it and you can go back to follow-up. So it'll be both. If you've got one beforehand, or then you can bring, it'll be there showing up in follow up and exit. If they're
So
like
will we,
if they're enrolled at exit, it'll show up if it's already in there, or you can add it.
so if we're enrolling them in training, nurses training as an example, will the system automatically put that on the education page, or
No,
we're gonna need
that's
to
just a
add it?
service. That's not going to be in here. Not that I know.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So that'll be a new step for
yeah.
staff to be able to say, hey, I put them in school, I need to add that.
I'm going to put a note on that because we could certainly do that if it's an education program, but let me put a note on that. Let me talk.
I mean, we have an education update in IWADS now that particularly when we're exiting somebody, we often will update
Right,
what
but do
did
you
they get
put
while
but
they were in training.
you put a service on and IWDS 1.0 right now. If you put a service on there that's a train service, do you go ahead or and that train service is associates or bachelors or something like that? Do you go ahead and go back and put an education enrollment?
No, but we
I
do
didn't
when
think so.
when they finish that associate or bachelor's degree, we do an update to their,
Yes, that's
yeah.
exactly right. Exactly right. You can put that in manually when you get that information. Um, so anyway, here you view them. If you want to add one, you go here. Okay, now this is similar, a little bit similar to looking for an employer. If this, and here's where your connection is, right? We associate this for you. If you had, and I think I got one here. If I had, they said, oh, they're going to school in Lincoln Land. Then if I did that, when I select that provider, it will show me all, and that there's junk in here, but it'll show me all the training programs they have, but you could pick one. Okay. All right. So, um, so that's how that works. If it's not here, if they went somewhere, it's not an ETPL or what program or whatever, it's not a program that's in any management or whatever. If it was, right now I don't have,
A barber shop, a hairstylist school,
we
something
don't
we
have
don't
anything in there
typically.
like that. And it was like, um, in mathematics. Okay. And I started that, and let's just say we started at whatever. Let's just be, by the way, just so you can see how these obviously work. Maybe they started that in 20. I don't know why I put it in here. And they started in January of 20. And let's say um, they ended in 22 in May 31st. Let's just say they did that. And then with the time they were full time. You can upload documentation supporting the enrollment right here. Um, and let's just say this was associates. Let's just say that was like that. And I can save this. Okay. That'll say success. It'll come right back here. And right here is that employment. Pretty straightforward. I can view that here. It'll show me files here. I can edit it right here. Remove it if I need to. Cancel. Okay. And then if I can go back to outcomes, it'll take me back to education. This one all seems to be functioning correctly, bouncing back to the right place and all that. So this is the third and final part of the UAT. So the first was the customer dedupe. The second was the customer application and outcomes employment. And the third one is education. Any other questions?
Al, we had one in the chat whenever we were going through the customer dedupe search about searching by social SSN. Are they able to do that, or it's not one of the main
No, we're
things?
not. We don't collect social in the pre-record. In that pre-record, we don't collect social, I don't think, if I
Okay.
remember right. Later on down the road, um, after application or something, or after eligibility, we pick that up, but we don't pick that up in the pre-record because we don't know how. We don't want to grab their social
Yeah.
for sure that early. Okay.
Omar, if you're on the customers tab, there's a last four social field, but not on your pre-record intake. Yeah.
Yeah, last four on the regular customer. You can actually add a customer. If you remember, we've been through this probably before. You can add a customer right here. Okay. I think Robert did this probably. You can put in a first name, last name. Works kind of similar, right? Um, I think I have to have a date of birth. All right, and I search. I can put in that. There's nothing there. I didn't find anything. I can go ahead and add customer. It brings that in, and then I start adding the customer. Okay. I'm not going to do that, but You can do that right from customers tab, add customer. It works the same as that other one over there when we do the pre-record. So any other questions? Mark, you got that question in there? Industry code.
Al, we
SSL.
had we got a couple hands up, but one question we did have was for the 12th. A lot of people, well, it's a mixed bag. Half people are off, half are working, for the most part. So I
Oh,
think
that's right. What are we doing on, I think we're pulling them into the 11th.
yes, I'll probably send out like a separate invite that starts, I don't know. We'll have to do a specific time, but that way they don't have to sit through like the,
Yeah, we'll
admin
bring it.
project
Yeah,
update stuff.
good
So I'll
point.
send out a invite to everyone for the core and extended UAT. And then if you are working Thursday, you can go to the Thursday one, or if, you'll kind of have your pick to go to which one that week. But I'll
Okay,
get that out today.
great. Rory, got your hand up.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry. First of all, I apologize. Uh, Again, I had a business service team meeting at 9:30 that went long, so I wasn't able to hop in here until about 10:30. If you already covered it, I'll just go back and watch the recording, no problem. But the credentials tab and the outcomes, did you guys already go over
No,
that?
we're not. That's not part of this one. The
Oh, good. I
credential,
didn't miss it. Okay. And then the other,
only the employment and the education, and that's what's in your thing here.
got it. Okay, that's
Got
what I
it.
thought. I was like, I can't. I read through the
Now you
guide kind
saw
of
it there
fast.
because it's still
But
there, but yeah.
okay, no, that's okay. And then
Good.
as far as the education, these would be and I'm again, this was said, I think even last week when you were introducing it, I just have kind of like a mental block on this because I keep thinking, along the lines of the old IWDS, so how it's done there. But for these enrollments, for these educations, uh, uh, these would be education programs that the participant has enrolled in at the conclusion of our services, or like as
Yes.
before we exit them, right? So this is like obviously
Yes.
for like youth going into like other post-secondary.
Yes, or you're capturing education if you wanted to capture. I think there's an education
Okay.
capture if you wanted
So
to.
yeah, again, I'm thinking like the education status is, screens that are currently in IWS
Yeah, we have that too.
credentials, or we
It'll
can
actually
list.
route to here, Rory. It'll route to here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this
Yeah.
wouldn't be where we enter stuff as
No, it
during
won't
the
be.
intake
It'll be here,
process.
but
Like, hey,
yeah,
what
it'll
education
be
did we done
like this isn't
before?
done.
Got it.
Rory, this isn't done yet, but like for example, over here, let me show you. You'll come from like that exit summary page looks very similar to the one in IWDS one, and you know where it has. I think it has a link there also. That link will like take you, right over to this employment page.
Right. Right. Okay. Thank you.
And then you can go right back. It'll take you right back to follow up. This will be coming next. It's not built yet. But yeah, just hang here and then you'll know how to do this. Education and employment. Straightforward. And you guys are going to see that's what we're trying to do all the time is and you're pretty soon you go, oh yeah, I get it. When you see these grids, you're going to see an action column. When you see an action I, you're going to see, oh, that's view. You're going to see an edit at the top right because we don't take you right into edit. We don't want you accidentally editing something. You're going to see this over and over because we don't want it to be different all over the place and you don't understand how to use the system. But once you start seeing that and getting used to that, you'll be quicker than I am. Okay. So, it's a grid. We call this a grid. It's got pagination. This is what we call pagination. It's got the same concepts all the way through wherever you use it. There's not enough like this pagination will start after like, I don't know, 10 or something. Maybe it starts after 5. But it's the same thing. If you ever see these lists and these paginations, if you see an underline somewhere or a view, sometimes they're underlined, sometimes they're viewed, either one works. And it's the same concept. We just want you to know that you'll get very used to it and you just got to pay attention to what you're doing, right? Because you might get so used to it, you're like, well, am I in education or employment? And you're looking all over the screen, you're going, oh, I don't know. What am I in? You got to look right at, the highlighted tab, for example. And just before you got on, Roy, I want to say this, and then I'll let somebody else, Cassie, looks like they want to talk. But before you got on, Mark was pointing out to us, how do we know who it is? Right up here at the top is how we know who the customer is. We got a little bit of information on them there. And then the application, we got a little bit here. Okay.
Oh yes, I did catch that second.
Yeah,
Right,
you
right
hit
around
that.
when I came in when you were showing the application,
Yeah,
that Dropbox at the top for the application.
exactly. Okay.
Thanks.
Yep. Cassie, I think it is. Here, you got your hand up.
Yes, it's me. So I have a
All right.
question. Um, so I noticed that you have the merge option, which is awesome. Thank you. However, currently right now I'm trying to assist the agency because they have a participant that is exited in LWIA 7. However, in IWDS, they are showing registration in LWIA 90. So with this merge feature, would that eliminate this?
We're gonna have a different merge feature for two profiles. Okay,
O-
but it's gonna be similar to that.
Okay.
It's gonna work similar to this that you see here. But you're gonna be able in the future, it's not built yet, and it's probably gonna be after we go live because we got to get this thing done first. But we're gonna have a feature that's gonna allow you to, get a couple of these and merge them together because you found that two profiles are the same. But
Okay.
what you said was interesting because there's a little bit something extra there.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to be able to move, transfer, whatever, a customer from one LWIA to the other, right?
Okay.
You'll be able to transfer them one LWIA to the other. I think what you said happened is once you transfer them, you found out you had them
Mm-hmm.
in that LWIA, and then so if you transfer them or merge them first or merge them after you transfer, you'll be able to do that. We haven't got that built out yet, but
Okay.
we're going to be able to do that for you.
Just want to put that on your radar.
You bet.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Any other questions? Hey, I really appreciate it. I want you all to get in here. If I got the notes thing up anymore, I don't see it. Let me get back in here.
Al, can I just throw a question out?
You bet.
You know, at the top where it says customer profile and then the customer's name, we were looking at that screen. Is there any way that the word customer profile could be in a different color than the name, just so it stood out more?
Yep.
One of just as so the name is a different color than the phrase customer
You bet.
profile.
You bet.
It kind of blends in and
Yeah, we can clean that up there. Yep.
Yeah,
Sure
or even
can.
like even bold and not bold. Maybe yeah,
We'll
any
get
kind
that
of
for you.
contrast.
Yeah.
I agree.
We'll get-
Contrast would be good.
Definitely, we'll do that. We got some stuff in here to clean up too. Like it's too, see this right here, it's hard to see. So we got to get this cleaned up a little bit. And it'll be cleaned up before too long here. We're getting into the meat of this thing now, and we'll make some of those cleanups for you guys. But yeah, throw it into also if you want, if you guys got those suggestions, if I can find my notebook, suggestions are fine too. Throw them in here. Say, hey, you know what? Um, put your initials in there, name, whatever. Say, hey, on this customer profile right here, on that where it shows up everywhere, let's get that cleaner. Maybe we can get that so the name shows up better and it doesn't blend into the label, right? Don't hesitate on doing that anywhere you want. If it's something general like that, you can even put it in here like they did here. Be sure to put your name in here, the date you were in here, so we can see that there's a lot of good participation, and then put whatever you want. It could be good, it could be bad, it's okay. If you have a bug, please tell us about it. Okay? And Kelly, you're going to get that PDF uploaded and all that.
Yes, I got it fixed. So,
Super. And that's on the project page, right?
yeah.
Let me see if I can go back, if I can get in the project page. I should be able to. All right, project site looks like this, folks. If you remember, it's got a little timeline. It's got a full list of resources right here, right? And in here, active UAT resources. We've got the notebook right here, this link here. 10 guide cycle 1, we got it right here. And then Kelly's got quick start guides out here for you. There's 3 of those. So a quick start guide looks like this. So this is also available, and this is going to go forward. Obviously, the UAT guides are not going to go forward into as help guides. They're just to help you through UAT. These are going to go forward. These are quick start guides. And this particular one here is on education outcomes, and it gives a nice little simple quick start with pictures so that you can just go, oh, I don't remember how to do that. you'll be able to go to this. We'll have these linked to later in the app out of the application. So that's a quick start guide. I wanted to show you that. Let me get back to the page.
Also, Al, how you brought that up with the UA notebook and the quick start guide, when you click on, can it open up in a new web page instead of the same page that you clicked on, just in case we want to go back and
Well,
open up
this one
multiple
here,
ones?
this one here did not. Okay. But if you wanted
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
that, I want to check. If you ever wanted to do that, just hit your control, hold your control down, hold your control key down and click it, and it puts it in a different page.
Oh, okay. Okay. I never
Anytime you
thought
see a
about that.
link, Robert, anytime you see a link anywhere in a website on a browser, if you hit your control on a Windows machine and click that link, it'll
It
put it in a different
works. It
tab for you.
works. Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
great.
All
All
right.
right.
Anything else? All right, folks.
I know
Excellent.
you mentioned something. I just want to, you mentioned about, the ability now for local area to transfer the files, a client file over to a new local area.
We're
Before in
going
the
to. It's
past,
not available yet, Robert, but we're going to have that available to you.
okay, but
Mm.
my question is DCO used to do it. So they gonna do we have to inform them anymore after this if y'all decide to do it that way?
We'll have to figure out what the permissions are to do something like that. And we haven't figured out all the permissions and who gets what permissions to do that. But we'll figure that out if it's going to be an LW or what. But there's got to be coordination between two LWs if you do that.
Correct. Right.
So I don't know where that's going to land out. I don't know yet. But whenever we dive through permissions, we'll definitely look through that and say what's the best place, who's the best role to have that. So yeah, but it'll be available. Anything else? All right, folks. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Jump in there when you can. Got a few minutes right now, but jump in there. Kelly, did you